Okay, there we go.
Hey, what's up?
Not much. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. You know what? Typically, I would be pouring myself like wine,
Hmm.
but no, man, I need 4 shots of espresso right now at 10:30 in the evening. I need
Okay,
freaking espresso.
really?
Yeah.
Hitting it hard, huh?
Well,
Big
I got
day or what?
no. We're having some remodeling done in the kitchen
Oh
where
yeah,
I'm at. So we got the whole week off.
cool.
It's really nice. So I put the kids to bed
Nice, nice.
at 8, but I passed out and I woke up at and I wake up at like at 9:48 to your message that says like, oh, I'm just gonna brew myself some coffee and I'll be here. And I'm like, oh shit, that's right. And I'm like, I'm going downstairs like it's 4 in the morning. Like, oh, I need coffee.
I mean, we both need coffee. I need this too. I mean, it's
Yeah,
7:30 in the morning for me, so
yeah.
it's my fucking life juice at this point.
I definitely have the 7:30 in the morning vibe right now.
Mm, you feeling it? I get
Yeah,
it.
I'm feeling it. But it just there's just something so good about having espresso late at night when you're not supposed to. Mm.
I mean, I've been told like because I at this point I don't drink coffee to keep me up. I mean I it does obviously a little bit, but like I like the fucking taste. But I'll drink coffee at 11 at night or something when we're cleaning down or you know
Oh
whatever.
yeah,
It doesn't affect me in that way anymore. So
it
you
just
know,
helps. It just helps me focus. If
mm,
I wanted, like, I guess you could say the intended, or like what more people like think of, like, oh, like I need coffee to wake me up. I would
yeah,
have to combine energy drink with coffee. Like that's my go-to.
just nitro fuel.
Exactly. Once I combine both of them, that's when I start to like, okay, I'm feeling the Red Bull go with the coffee go.
Yeah,
Ooh, the
that
shakes.
you start tasting colors and you're like ah.
I'm
You
telling you,
seen into the fourth dimension. You're like, oh, okay.
exactly.
Mm.
That's exactly what it's like. You just feel yourself like, oh my god, this is what it's like to die.
I'm so close to God right now.
It really does, man. It's a spiritual moment, man.
Yeah, yeah, you're feeling it. But yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, when I messaged you about the topic, I was like, I want to talk about this because, like,
Yeah, what
you know,
fueled that? Because that's such a specific word.
yeah.
Empowerment. I'm like, okay, where's his head at?
I was
Empowerment.
listening
That's
to a lot of
interesting.
Beyonce, and I was like, I need this.
Yeah, right.
No, to be honest, like, throughout my whole career, and I don't know about you, but probably the same. You get so many head chefs that complain, oh, so and so, they come to me with just so many problems and they don't fix things and this and that. But then I thought, like, that's your fault. That's your fault because you're not empowering your people to like make choices that are best for the restaurant and themselves, and you're not helping them grow. So you're creating your own problems. I don't know how else to tell you this, but you need to help guide your people to grow, not just as cooks, but like as human beings. That's kind of part and parcel of the career path that we're on. It's kind of our career and stuff is such a big part of who we are as people outside of the kitchen as well. So it kind of it's this big, powerful word, but yeah, I was wanted to talk about it and see if you had any uh, insight from your end about.
No, for sure. Empowerment. That's big. Because
Mm,
one thing that kind of like fueled my want to sort of do something, like a channel, like a YouTube channel. Basically, what
hmm
got me going is
hmm
just I personally was getting sick and tired of just higher chefs almost putting like this fog on a map,
hmm
and just sort of like, as a cook, there's only so much when a cook can only just say, it's like, oh yeah, I'm so badass because I've worked like, we used to do 500 covers a night.
Yeah.
And like, how does that help me? Like, it's almost just become like this position where I can tell you how much I know, how much, it's
Yeah.
like a resume.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, okay, it's I'm just gonna assume there's something that I don't. If you're like above me, like
Yeah.
there's a reason why you have the
Yeah.
position, and
Hmm.
I'm someone that just sort of like I'll give you that trust from the get go,
Sure.
and so it yeah it's where it's a position where I feel that should be like a teachable thing, something where it's like, dude, wouldn't you want to just like pass it on? Don't you think you're like the way you'd measure success is by how well you pass on the information and the impact that you can have towards other
Yeah.
people?
Totally.
Like I like it's like learn all this shit just to give it away.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're not impressing anyone. I remember my friend once was saying like you could be 100% right. You could be the best cook, the best everything, but like if people don't like you, what the fuck is the point?
Mm.
If you're just gonna be some like pretentious asshole, this guy that's just gonna talk about where he's been, the things he knows, the education he may or may not have, like, so
Hmm.
what, dude? Like help a cook out,
Yeah. Help
help
me
us
help
out.
you.
Like I want to know, like I already think like some of the chefs that I have are pretty badass. It's like help, like how did you get where you are?
Hmm.
Show me the moves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's their whole job, man. Like, it's not just putting out food and like. I mean, there's one aspect of a restaurant. It's a business, and you're selling a product, and people are coming in and they're buying it. Great. But then there's the people that are under you that you're supposed to be training, that you're supposed to be bringing up. And like you said, I mean, a head chef, I mean, debatably should know more than the cooks below them. But I mean, that's in my experience, that's not always the case. Sometimes people get positions by just being a good personality. People get promoted for that all the time.
Yeah, and you know what?
Happens.
That comedy meter reminds me of like uh a chef that I had. He was like, I think he
Hmm.
got promoted when he was 24. Like I remember, like when I started, he was like maybe like 24 as a sous chef, and then I got to see him be a chef. But
Hmm.
you know, the position eventually got to him. But just the same way, like the way you said, it's like some people get the positions for different reasons, whether they have more experience than you or less experience than you. But
Hmm.
again, even if it's someone that's below that I would consider like not as experienced as me, it's
Yeah.
you still want to help. You can still empower them by at least having their back. But at
Yeah.
least like, okay, you know what? You're new. Let me help you out, dude. You know,
Hmm.
it it's a mutual thing. It's
It's a
beneficial
growth
for,
thing. It's a
and
growth thing.
I just don't get this sort of like gatekeeping of information.
I mean, to be fair,
Like,
I think it used to be worse. I think it used to be worse. A lot of chefs are like, no, no, this is my secret sauce and you're not getting it. Okay.
that's true. I've had guys that will deliberately like rip recipes from their station because they know how to do it. They don't want anyone else to do it.
Yeah.
There's this genuine fear that if someone learns the things from your station and they can do it better, that means that's the end for you. And
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever worked in a kitchen that is that level of cutthroat. I've been in some really
No.
cutthroat kitchens. I've never
Hmm.
been in something where it's like that easy. Like, damn, you know what, Chris? Josue does everything one step better than you. You're out. Like, wouldn't you want like, hey,
Yeah.
Leo, have the more experienced guy show the new guys how to do something, or maybe the less experienced, or just,
Hmm.
or I mean, or even I don't even give a shit if you're less experienced than me. I'm always
Yeah.
gonna assume there's something that I don't know. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean,
but it
that's logical. That makes sense.
but it's
I,
hard,
I
man, because this is an ego game.
can be.
It can
It
it
can be for
definitely
a lot
can
of
be.
guys. Yeah. I mean, the thing is like the stress that I think a lot of chefs feel, especially new head chefs and things that that they come up and they're like, okay, they're trying to do everything and they're not really succeeding and they're trying to say, oh, okay, well, so and so just always comes to me with problems and no solutions. And I've heard that, I don't know, like a dozen times in my life. And you're like, not necessarily for me, but just complaining about some person on the line or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but you gotta show them. You have to make them feel like they can make decisions. And this is like a personal growth thing just as much as anything. Like decision making and problem solving is 90% of what we do on a daily. Cooking and cleaning is like kind of like a 10%er kind of thing. But like it's all problem solving. Shit always goes sideways. You just got to figure it out and figure it out. That's it.
We do the same shit every day. So it's like the physical aspect. That's not the difficult. It's the mental
No.
toll it takes on you. And the thing is,
Yes.
it shaves away, like it shaves at you. It's little bits and pieces that eat at you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's not letting those little things get to you. And I'm definitely been guilty of the gatekeeping kind of stuff, or just feeling like I want this promotion and I can't just go around helping other people, because then that might give them the it might prepare the opportunity to be better. And
Yeah.
but it's just, that's not true. Number one,
No.
anyone that's gonna like do better or be like quote unquote a threat to you is already gonna be that way without you.
Yes.
It's like you could give people the keys to success, but at the end of the day, not everyone are going to pick up on those tips and tricks or pieces of advice that you give them.
I mean, yeah. No, sorry, go ahead.
No, but no, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, okay. I was just gonna say something like, I mean, for me, it's a lineage thing too, right? Like, when you're a head chef or you're even a sous and you're training people to come up in this industry and to be sous and head chefs at some point, you should go in with the goal that I want you to be better than me, because I think that's a really good measure of success. Is the people that came up under you, they got better than you, or they at least got to your level. Because I think lineage wise, from you go from Escoffier down. If you just say like, well, everyone just gets a little bit worse, like eventually we're all just going to be making like TV dinners at the end and like, yeah, here you go, great. Like everyone should strive to be better than the person that they came up under, and we deserve to give people that are coming up a little more than we ever got, in a way. I think is the important stuff.
That's interesting what you say. Are you referring to people, non-industry people, when you say that?
I'm referring to everybody. I mean, I think like parents teaching their kids, or any kind of work even outside of the kitchen, you want to train people to be almost serve the function that's above them, because eventually they'll get a promotion, or eventually this or that, and you want to kind of be able to do the job before you get it, as opposed to learning as you go and kind of stumbling every time you get go up that rung. I think it's a bit of a messy road then, as opposed to striving to get the job above you, and then when you finally get it, you're like, I'm already been doing this, okay, let's go and let's aim higher now, and so on and so forth. I think it's just like a personal growth thing. Yeah.
It's interesting that you put it that way, because in
Mhm.
my head, like the first thing I think is like, like a great way to empower yourself
Mhm.
is like, the first thing I would think, like if someone's like, how can I empower myself in the kitchen, is like, why don't you start making like family meal?
Mhm.
Because it involves both the physical and non-physical aspects of what we do, which
Mhm.
is the cooking aspect, but also there's the creative think on your feet side.
Mhm.
It's a great exercise, especially if you're a new cook and you go into, it's like any of these like cooking shows, like go into the walk-in, look around and make a recipe in 1 hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it makes me think about like the kind of things that these chefs sell, as far as like recipe books. And I remember like one time I tweeted something like, I don't want to sell you a recipe book, because
Mhm.
it's like half the stuff that they sell, it's like, one, it's, they assume there's a certain level of skill even when it's
Mhm.
something super simple,
Mhm.
and it's just, you're gonna it's almost like there's a way to almost like intimidate new people, simply
Mhm.
by just being by doing too much. So it's like you can
Yeah.
sell like a super easy recipe book, but if the recipes aren't simple enough or aren't broken down enough, it's just going to feel like this pretentious book is talking down at you the whole time.
Sure.
You know,
I mean, there's these books that have like, the pantry section. Like, how many times do I need to see how to pickle red onions? Like, I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah, yeah. It's like go grab your meter long immersion blender.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just gonna assume that you have an immersion blender just laying around somewhere.
Get your
With
circulator out. Okay.
yeah, you're like, what the fuck is this shit? You know, I don't have sous vide, so how about some plastic bags? Put it's like you want to empower people, want to show them like it's almost like the secret that cooks don't want you to know, that chefs don't want you to know, is that a
Mhm.
lot of the food can be easily broken down into just super simple components. Like if you just know how to saute veggies, if you just know how to saute meats,
Yeah.
other than that, it's just a matter of just picking your seasonings. And most of the time, you
Yeah.
can't go wrong with like onion and garlic.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
just never go wrong. You know,
No.
it's I think it's man, when you said empowerment, it's like I can just see the different levels of how in food a lot of it is just like being held together by ego and class and
Hmm.
just this sort of like I'm gonna hold the information I have over your head. I'll give you a taste, but I'm not gonna give you everything.
The first taste is free. The
Yeah,
first taste is free, and then you just got to figure it out.
but the rest is gonna cost you a bit.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, fuck, dude. I don't know, man. It's just weird. I kind of prefer the method where I sort of use my experience to sort of like take away stress from the cook. You
Hmm.
know, so for like let's say we're like in like anything under like for me like anything under let's say I'll be humble. Let's say anything less than 250, I'm not gonna stress out about. Okay, if you told me we have a 100 service and 200 I can do that. That's fine. I'm not going to stress out about that. But if I'm
Yeah.
working with like a really new guy, like I know that's going to overwhelm him, I'm going
Hmm.
to use my experience to sort of like, hey, dude, we're going to get through this together. Stay chill, and I'll show you like what you can think about while this is going, so you don't feel like because it's nice to zone in, it's nice to focus, but then when
Hmm.
you get that tunnel vision, then that's when you can start fucking things up because it's not just about having tunnel vision. It's about working while still paying attention to a million things at once. It's like the
Hmm.
one episode of Fry from Futurama. I don't know what
Yeah.
episode it is, but there's one where he's having like a shit ton of coffee and they're keeping
Okay.
track of how much he has. And then I think he hits like the magic number of like either espresso shots or cups of coffee that he has. And
Right.
he ends up like moving so fast that everything else looks like it's in slow motion. And in some ways, it's like that's exactly what service needs to be like. You got to be able to like do your fucking orders all while at the same time. In many instances, you got to go grab things from the walk-in. You got to stock your station. You got to keep your station clean. You got to start setting up for the next batch of orders. You got to start thinking
Hmm.
what's going to replace the saute pan that you're about to pull off of the fire for the
Yeah.
next order.
And if
You
you're
know,
on the grill, you're talking to your saute guy. You're saying, okay, where are you with this? Okay, where are you with that? Okay, okay, okay. Let's meet up. Blah 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 blah.
what
You
good is me knowing how to handle all that if one guy on the line doesn't know how to handle all that?
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, right? Like assuming everyone is at not that like we're superstars or any such thing. It's just like more experience doing different things, and everyone's got different levels and where they're at and they've actually done in other restaurants and stuff. It's incredibly arrogant to come at it and say, why don't you know how to do this? Well, I'd never really did anything like this before. Well, fuck you. Okay, all right, yeah, fuck me, I guess. Whatever,
I used to have a
you
guy
know.
that was exactly like that at the second restaurant I was in.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I got for the whole service, I was getting shit because this
Mm.
was at a hotel kitchen, and the chef showed me like how to do crostinis, and I didn't know what a crostini was.
Hmm.
And then so I'm like, okay, just really thinly sliced bread. But I didn't have like the precision that I have now. So
Hmm.
even my cuts, me doing my absolute best, they weren't coming out even. But
Hmm.
man, this guy for a whole service was just knocking on my crostini. It's like, dude, it's like it was like two full red tops that we had for service. And he was, I prepped for him. And
Hmm.
dude, it was the longest service ever because I knew he was not going to quit bitching until both red tops were empty. And if those red tops weren't empty, that means the entire service I was just going to get shit talked about how shitty my crostinis were. And we did
Okay.
run out, so it's like, yeah, the whole service I just got shit talked to. But it was like like at the time I thought like, yeah, I fucked up, blah blah blah. But now in retrospect, it's like, how was that helpful? Like if I was the chef, I'd
Yeah.
be like, so why don't you fucking show him? I mean, that's almost like my method. It's almost like parenting. It's like if you're gonna talk shit to a guy, it's like, guess what? Now you're gonna train him to be as good as you.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you're flexing. So let's see.
Mhm.
If you can't teach, how good are you really? If you can't pass on if
Yeah.
you can't articulate what you're doing, if your answer is just like,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
just know how to do it, you really don't know how to do it. How are you
I
gonna?
mean, there's certain things like cuts and stuff, like doing brunoise and stuff. I mean, you can give someone some tips, but like physically, they have to take their hand and they have to do it. So there is certain things that like just come over time of doing it. But yeah, of course, like teaching someone finer points. Like when I'm teaching someone on the grill, every time I go, that's the hot point, that's like the colder area, and like every grill's kind of different, and like okay, this is what you do here, there. This is why I put fish here or steaks there, or my system for steaks or whatever, because I think it works good, and it helps people kind of find a center. Especially like you're saying, unexperienced cooks coming in first day on the grill, and you're just training them, and they're looking at like this fucking like I'm gonna get fucked. Great. Yeah. Okay. Well, here's a couple things. Keep in mind. It'll be okay. I'm not gonna let you drown. That's my favorite thing. Like I'm not gonna let you fucking fail. Like I might let you stress a little bit, but I'm not gonna let you fail.
Yes,
And
a little stress is fine.
yeah,
You want to let them feel it. Feel what it's like. Like, how are you gonna know how to fucking survive if you don't know what it's like to drown?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you gotta let them feel that a little bit.
You only get better by kind of getting fucked a little bit. Not like a lot, like where you want to quit the industry or whatever, but just like
It's
a
just
little bit
enough,
of fucking up.
just enough to point out like where your flaws
Yeah.
are with like your station setup, with the way you're executing things. It's a good way to humble yourself.
I just remember like one of those kitchen tips that somebody gave me is like, okay, well, you're right-handed, right? Yeah. So when you're cutting things, the stuff you're cutting should be on your left side. Instead of crossing over your your knife hand, it should be on your left. So you're just grabbing from your left, bringing it over, and then your container or whatever you're decanting into is in front of you, and you're just going bup 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 bup. And I remember that I was like, huh, yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, you'd never know unless somebody tells you, or maybe you just did it naturally, and that's great. But I,
There's a
I've
lot of nuances
I've seen
that
hundreds of cooks not do that, and I'm like, yeah, well, I mean, this is easier. But
it's weird that have you gone to like formal culinary you've gone to formal culinary school, yeah?
hmm
What's the is there at any point some sort of lesson or reference to working in a restaurant? Like, do you guys do like mock service?
I didn't, because the school I went to, they have the culinary kids, so they're full time all day. There's schoolwork obviously in the classroom, and then there's labs where we do recipes and whatever, and there's different sections. But then there's a like I don't know, I guess you would say a cafeteria situation or whatever, but like a mock restaurant where the students all go through there, and that's part of their kind of practicum, real life experience thing. But then there's the apprenticeship program that I did. So you already have a job, and 3 months of the year you're in school, and then the rest of the year you're working.
Is
So
that like
each, yeah.
is that like what most people do when they're like, "Oh, I have an externship at this restaurant or I go here?"
I mean, I think it's a little different in the States, but yeah, I mean, I, I think the culinary kids, none of them do anything. Like they almost always drop out, or they get into. They usually push those kids into like cooking competitions and these kind of things. Um, it's a different kind of thing. A lot of them, they've never worked in a kitchen in their lives, and many times I've worked with people that have come out of that program and it's their first job, and they are pretty clueless. Like there's just no sense of what to do, and they have that look where they're very like it's first day at the job kind of thing, and it's we just said about like you got to teach people and stuff, but I don't know. That's a situation where as being from the apprenticeship program, I feel it's a bit different, because we already have work experience and we already have the jargon and we already have the baseline, and these people come in, they watch like Food Network and like, oh, I like to cook for my parents and stuff, and like, yeah, great, but like that's not what we're doing here. Your parents might come tonight, but we're not just cooking for them. So it's usually they come in with a different kind of mindset, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'd have to look at the stats and stuff, but I don't think a lot of them end up working in the industry more than a couple of years.
You saying all that, I'm thinking like, why wouldn't they have like something? Because it's like you're working on food. Where else do you think you're gonna go? Most of these people aren't gonna go to like. When you talk about someone that goes into the line for the first time, they don't know. It's like the first thing I thought is like some cook that's like, oh, you mean I'm not gonna be picking microgreens here?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
you know what? 9 times out of 10, you're just gonna end up on the saute station with the rest of us. Making mac and cheese and soups of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess in the culinary, maybe you just can't do that only because it's there just to give you a foundation of culinary. Because a lot of people there probably aren't going straight to restaurants. I keep forgetting that there's people that like to study like food history,
Yeah.
or like even just different aspects like the evolution of recipe books,
Yeah.
or
Or
even like
nutrition or
or
whatever.
food production and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So it's like I guess, but I don't know. I guess for me, someone that hasn't gone to culinary school and only knows food from basically, I know food from like a restaurant perspective. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
when I think of things outside the line, I immediately think of the farmers, the butchers, the meat, like where anything that goes into the restaurant, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm not really
Mm-hmm.
thinking about a food production and what that has to do with me, or a food media producer, or I mean even a critic. It's like, the fuck that does that have to do with me, as a
Yeah.
cook at this level? So yeah, I mean it just sucks, man, because I'm trying to think like how do you get a cook to sort of
Get there.
have some basic fucking information before they even step on the line, because there's none of
Yeah.
that there. It doesn't exist.
I always had this dream, this weird like fantasy of making a. You know how hospitals have these teaching hospitals, right? But you'd have a teaching restaurant where it's like a school, but you also cook for guests, maybe at a reduced price or whatever, because it's obviously students producing food, and the menus are geared towards what they're supposed to learn in school or whatever. But like, I
I'd
always had
love
this
that.
idea of, yeah, and that would be fun. I think maybe some sort of frustrating, but be
I'd
fun, I
like
think.
that way the fuck more, and it seems more practical, because I
Hmm.
feel like at least me, when I hear about like places people externship or stuff like that, it's like it's
Mhm.
always going to be like a Michelin restaurant, and it's like, no knock to them. I'm sure lots of great people end up going to them, but it's like most of you guys are not going to end up doing that.
No.
Like wouldn't it be more helpful to learn practical skills than learning how to use like an instant freezing machine, or like some hydrogen tank
Hmm.
infused whatever? Like, not every place is Alinea.
No, and I mean, like,
Universe.
I've worked with a couple people that came out of Noma or whatever, and like they just picked herbs for like 12 hours and 13 hours a day, and I'm
But
like, okay,
but it's like in the big like picture,
yeah.
I'm sure that they're just like ultra niche. I mean, it's not even niche; it is just super niche, because
Mhm.
no restaurant of that caliber wants to be, say, compared to the next restaurant of that caliber.
Right,
You know,
right.
I mean, it's almost like it's like, even when I see something like the Perrier's top 50,
Hmm.
in a way, I don't see it as like this big tip of the mountain. It's almost like food has created, or at least these restaurant chefs have created, just a big flat top of a mountain. And they can all stand together, but
Hmm.
individually. because they're all unique in their own way.
Mhm.
What was his name from Noma, the chef? What's his name?
What? Rene Redzepi?
Yeah. I remember Rene when he was going to go for his third star, and
Hmm.
he was just talking about the ridiculous of top 50 because he compared it to like people getting together every year and voting for the best color. It's like that's a
Yes.
stupid fucking way of putting it, but that's an incredibly accurate way of putting it. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's almost exactly what it is. Because at that point, like it's a razor's edge of quote unquote who is better. I mean, compared to
everyone is
who? Like
different.
some water company? Like I don't know.
When I
Like
go, like, if there's one place that I would love to go eat,
yeah.
that's a Michelin restaurant, and that is I want to go to one of Dominic Cren's restaurants.
Yeah,
Only
fair.
because, as far as what I've seen, that's
Hmm.
someone who's like, for them, I see Dominic Crenn as an artist, and it happens to be food as her vessel.
Yes.
It's almost like when she talks about the food, she's not talking about the sustenance aspect of it. It's almost like listening to an artist talk about why they chose green for that medium, and they're not talking about what's in the green. If
Yeah,
that makes sense.
she's pretty incredible in that arena. Yeah, she's
So it's
pretty
like,
special.
yeah. So it's like that's something I'd like to do and experience. But
Mm.
yeah. At that point, man, it's like you're super niche, and you got to understand that it's great if you went through something like that. And
Hmm.
there's things that will transfer over, things that are like the discipline that you need, the dedication that you need. You're
Mm.
definitely gonna feel. We talked about this a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
where you go from like a very high end restaurant with habits,
Hmm.
and like me, you go into a more relaxed restaurant, and then I find myself that even when I'm just trying to chill,
Mm.
I'm still doing too much. It's like
People
I
are like,
don't.
whoa
It's like,
there, Jose.
yeah, it's
Whoa.
like, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to like be showy. I'm not trying to be arrogant. Like I have to really bite my tongue, or at least try to be more in the background.
Yeah.
Because of the
Yeah.
habits that I've learned.
I can relate to where I'm at right now, where it's very like there's a lot of you understand the term cowboy kind of shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, so like there's a lot of cowboy shit going on, and I'm just like, this is hurting my soul a little bit, and there's some habits that you get when you come up, depending on where you're at. Obviously, I mean, some things get kind of drilled into you a little bit, and you get used to a certain way of working, whether it's Michelin or casual fine or even in pubs and things, whatever. But for me, it's one of those things that you don't, unless you start giving up and you really start kind of becoming bitter, you don't really lose those things. And so when you kind of go into a place where the attitude is a little more easygoing, you're just like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing it like this? Why don't we have the labels in the front of the cam, bro? Why we why aren't we labeling? What are we
how
why aren't you
long?
cut why aren't you cutting the tape? Why aren't you doing this? And in my
Yeah,
head I'm just like, shit, like maybe I'm too anal. And I know I'm not, because I don't come from a super fine dining background. I mean, I've done a little bit, but it's not that much. So it's more of a, I don't know, like a fine casual, I guess you could say. But you know, it's not. I'm not asking the world. It's just what I consider simple, basic stuff. Um,
I notice. Yeah, there's certain things that I notice. I'm like, oh, I'm not there anymore. I'm not in that world anymore. I think
mhm,
one of them was the walk in had a piece of paper taped on it, and it was old because this paper just looked discolored. And it's like, please
sure.
date and label everything. And I'm like, why would you need to have a sign on the kitchen that says that? It's just
Yeah.
it's weird. To me, that was weird.
I mean, I
Or
think my first sous chef, like, he used to just take things that were in the fridge, find out who made it or who did it that wasn't labeled or done improperly, just put it on your desk in front of you and just walk away. And he would just like, you knew that, like, oh, I gotta do this thing. I fucked this up, and that was it. So like that's the way I was kind of drilled into to doing that kind of stuff.
Mine
It was,
was
yeah.
the chef would find out, and if I
Mm.
didn't do it properly, he would toss it because it's like, how do I know you did it today? How do I know it's fresh? You didn't label it, you
Yeah.
didn't date it. How do I know any of that? I could have made the whole thing, and yeah, you could argue like, oh man, that's wasted product, but you know what? I didn't make that mistake again. Also, if you're going to
Hmm.
be complaining about wasted product and you're not the owner, it's like, dude, chill out. Like, it's not like, so what? You know, like how many mistakes do you? How many plates do we just that go like to the trash because of a server error or even a customer like doesn't want something? You know,
Yeah, yeah.
for
You
dumb
saw some
fucking.
plate that is a lactose allergy or some shit or whatever. And you're like, fuck. I need a refire on this. Why? Shut up. Just do it.
You know,
Okay. And
here's
it's like, yeah, okay, you fucked up. I get it.
here's an empowering tip. Just
Yeah,
because the lesson might be a little harsh, it doesn't automatically mean it's abuse. Just, sometimes you just
yeah,
got to take it on the chin,
yeah.
Get
No,
used
that's
to it. That
actually a
feels
very good
empowering.
point.
That's one of the first things that made me feel empowered is, you know what, as hard as a chef is going to be, as, whatever, each chef is going to be fucking different.
Hmm.
Hopefully, you know what, physical violence is not something you're going to have to worry about.
Yeah.
So for me, it was always like, what's the worst you're gonna do? Are you really gonna fire me on the spot? Because I fucked something up.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, do I really even want to be in a spot that's gonna fire me for making simple mistakes like that? No. So you know what? I would practice speaking up whenever I fucked up. It's
Yeah.
almost like I got really good at fucking up.
I mean, that's the only way you get better is just fucking up and getting better
That's
at it.
the only way,
Mm.
and the only way you're gonna find it. There's empowerment in there. It's just about
Hmm.
finding it and not like crossing your arms and throwing a hissy fit. It's okay to do so. It's okay. I mean, who hasn't like thrown a hissy fit in the walk-in after service, after the
Yeah.
rush?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's totally fine. But once it's all said and done, it's like you don't want to carry that with you. You got to
No.
start figuring out after you've had your freak out moment, it's time to figure out how to start taking everything that was thrown at you and use it for your own benefit. I mean, and the bigger aspect, that's all life is. It's just taking it's like problem solving, but it's like how is it
Mm.
gonna help you in your own growth?
Yeah. I mean, like for head chefs and young cooks alike, I mean, when it comes to what's said during service, I mean, I know in the advent of everyone wants um quality of life and everybody wants to work 7 hours a day now and stuff like I don't think that'll ever happen unless you double your workforce and everyone works 7 hour days and anything. But like what's said during service should stay at service. I mean, realistically, the head chef should, as soon as service is done, okay, well, let's just drop it and figure out what happened and get to the root of it. The anger should be gone. I mean, maybe they're not, and then they're in the wrong. But for the most part, things that are said during service is just in the heat of the moment, and it's never like personal, or it shouldn't be.
My first chef would
You know.
always like he'd have at some point, he'd be down your neck. He was someone that like would be pretty intense, but it
Hmm.
was all justified. Like he knew how to balance it. I never felt like abused or like that he yelled at me for no reason. I always felt every
Hmm.
time I was justified. But
Hmm.
something that I really like that he would do is always after rush, he would go to every station, each individual cook or the dishwasher, and apologize for the things he said during service.
Oh, that's
Which,
nice.
which he didn't have to because no one took it personally. Again, he wasn't saying any wild shit.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of the times it was like chef don't apologize because if it wasn't for you like putting that pressure on me, I wouldn't have like realized that I could go faster or that
Yeah.
I had to
Rise
buckle up,
above it. Yeah.
rise above it. It's like again, a good chef will know the right amount of pressure to apply, And as a cook,
Hmm.
you gotta be able to trust that the person above you is looking out for your own best interest. It's a mutual thing. There's a
Hmm.
lot of blind trust that goes into it, you know
Hmm.
and if it's not there, no one's going to be empowered. Empowering other people is also empowering yourself.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like I remember I was working the past. I was sous chef at this place back home, and this one girl that was working in the cold section, she just, I don't know, something happened. She got overwhelmed, and she completely crashed service, and it was just lunch, but it was just a lot at once, and she just couldn't keep up, and whatever. And after service, I felt like, again, like you were saying, I felt as though I was being maybe harsh, because this is probably not 9 years ago or something, maybe now. And I was like, fuck, is there something I did? I took her outside, and after service is done, I was like, okay, is there something I did, or did I fuck you up, or what happened? And she just like broke down crying. I was like, fuck. And in my head, I'm like, shit, did I do this? Oh, fuck. No, she just, like, her wedding was coming up and she was stressed. Like, her venue was not working out, and there's a bunch of stuff, personal stuff, that was like getting in her head.
Are you
Yeah.
saying that someone's personal life affected their job?
I
My
am
chef
saying
told
that.
me that there is no life outside the kitchen.
Oh, well,
That's what my chef told
he's
me.
probably got a sad life.
He told
probably
me
got a sad ass life.
that I'm not really living that kitchen life unless it's like 1 a.m. and I'm thinking about work.
I mean, I used to be that way, probably like 8, 9, 10 years ago. I used to be all about that. But I mean, again, when you're young and hungry and shit, and you want to like grow, I mean, you should be like that in the first, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years. But like after that, it's kind of not time to coast, but it's time to like work with your head, not your back. Like now you've got all the fundamentals and you've got the base. Now it's time to kind of like move up and let somebody else do that role.
Find out where you want to fit in to this whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the important bit. I mean, your old head chef seems like a fucking, like, maybe he'll listen to this and he seems like a fucking douchebag, but that's the way
No,
it
I
goes.
won't.
He's just like, nope. After they let you go, he's like, nope, gonna unsubscribe. Nope.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
the
way I kind of see that whole group of people is like,
yeah,
they're the one with the status. They got the status, they got the money, they got the years of, here's the evidence.
Yeah.
You could be right in the idea of it, but again, it's kind of like, you can mock a celebrity all day, but at the end of the day, they're gonna laugh their sad life into a fucking mansion.
Well, I don't know. I was just reminded about this the other day, though. Okay, go ahead. I'll tell you after.
No. I was just gonna finish up, but the thing is, it's like, I think that's the difference between people like the head chef and me, where it's like his base, his pride just it seems to come out of these accolades, and coats and stuff like that. And for me, it just mine, like the way I measure my success is how I've treated my peers, and how far I can take my peers just with the little things that I might know.
Right.
I'd rather, I mean, over time, I realized that that's more satisfying than getting a white coat.
Yeah. That's the thing in Europe. I find like I'm fighting against, because in Canada, yeah, of course there's chef coats and stuff, but like it's a lot more lax. It's a lot more like a hipster thing. So like having a black T-shirt or something is normally fine for a lot of places. And here in Europe, it's very like, I don't know, they see it as a little unprofessional, or like, oh no, this is the chef outfit.
100%.
I'm like, okay, well, yeah, but it's a lot more nicer to wear a black shirt, black tee. It's a lot more comfortable. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a lot nicer.
No, for sure. I forgot about that too.
And I remember making a tweet about it. I was, because somebody made a comment about it. Some guy that was filling in at work, and he was like, well, I've got my outfit, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, you look the part. Like, like, just because you have fucking whites on doesn't mean you can cook any better than anybody who doesn't. Like, it's a really bad perception error that you have going.
Yeah, but we all have it, man. It's such a hard flex. I remember I used to work. I mean, it's funny because the only places I see with like that have chef coats are like hotels.
They definitely do, and they have the little like neckerchief things and stuff.
Exactly, and like around here, like the nice restaurants, all the
Mhm.
staff just wears like you said, black shirt, black pants, and
Yeah.
maybe like a pinstripe but bib apron. That's like
Yeah.
standard
Yeah.
fine dining right there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, fucking Noma, like they wear. I think it's a dark navy blue or something, or black or whatever. But like they wear t-shirts. That alone, I'm like, and I've been doing this for years. But like that alone, if you have a problem, I mean, number one restaurant in the world, I don't know, 80 times and 3-star Michelin, they still have t-shirts. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like
what's this culture coming to?
when it's about style over substance.
Yeah, I bet like super old French chefs are just like turning over, just absolutely disgusted with what's become of their industry.
I mean, probably, yeah. I mean, with the advent of Instagram and stuff, people, everyone's got an opinion, and everyone seems to know everything, but know nothing at the same time.
You know who's someone that I like listening to that both inspires me and just makes me cringe? Where it's like, oh god, talk about this dated shit.
No,
It's
no.
listening to Marco Pierre White.
Oh yeah,
That man knows how to inspire,
Yes.
stroke his own cock, and just nut on everyone in the vicinity.
And they're like,
And
"Thank you, Marco." Yes.
And everyone says thank you. And I'm the only one that's like, it's weird. I feel like I just got molested. It's like, yes, I came, but I don't really like that it came from you.
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie. I go back and I watch the old BBC things and some of the stuff talks he does at Google, and he is very entertaining to listen to. And the thing is like I agree
He's a good
with
storyteller. Like he's had
Yeah,
time
yeah.
to tell his story in a almost like Harry Potter type of way.
His accent is amazing, so it doesn't hurt that that's a
And
thing.
he has these beautiful long pauses. He puts his finger. He's like, "Now listen very carefully," and then pause. I have always been
dramatic
a
pauses.
man of my word. Pause. Pause. Never tell a lie. Pause. Pause. It's like, damn, Marco.
I mean, shit, dude. I mean, the thing is like I agree with. I'm not very old school, but I'm not new either. I'm somewhere in that little middle ground where, I'm not like, oh, cooks are really soft now and they're fucking losers, and I don't go that way.
Marco to me is like an older relative that it's like I roll my eyes when he talks, but I get what he's saying.
Yes.
So I'll still come around. I'll still listen to his talks and his videos because it's like I can look over the dramatic, the frills and sexiness of what he's saying and just get into the raw thing. I'm like, yeah, basically just show up to your work. Don't fucking quit when things get hard, And I mean,
and just being dedicated to your craft and just
being
learning
dedicated and just being aware, man. Not everyone is gonna want to fucking empower you. I mean, you know who's someone that doesn't want to empower you? That one German chef.
Talk about now. Tim Rao, yeah.
Tim Rao will never want to empower you.
No. He just wants you to be afraid of him.
He wants you fear. To be afraid. He's talking about look, chef, I can cut these better than this other cook. Don't you think I should have that station instead? You're right, Tim. Chris, you're out. Tim, you're in.
Tim, you're right. Fuck that guy.
Yeah,
your onions are really good. Your
mirepoix is, goddamn, each piece cut perfectly even.
Do you want my job, Tim? Do you want my job?
Tim,
like
please.
You want my job.
Have my position. Would you like my wife? You can have my wife. Tim, please.
You can have my life. I'll just go live by the river.
Yeah.
Under a bridge by the river. It's fine.
Where have I been? My little Berlin street fighter, you.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is,
he's only mean because his dad didn't love him as a kid.
Yeah, I guess that's part of it. Yeah, he was like a single mother or something, or his dad beat him or some shit.
I'll make a deal with you, Tim. I'll call you chef. You call me daddy. I'll take care of you if you take care of me. Papa, is that you, Papa?
Daddy? I mean, yeah. I mean, those kind of people, like the super ego guys, are like, you are
You're
tool for me
universe.
to. Yeah. You are like a brush that I'm picking up to exact my art, and you are nothing more than that. those kind of people, I don't know. I don't even understand the type of person that wants to work for that.
Does that make you feel empowered?
Yeah.
To be
Does that
compared as
feel good?
Michelangelo's brush? You might not be Michelangelo or Da Vinci, but you could be his easel.
You are a blunt object that is to be manipulated by me to create art for very rich people to come and eat.
Can you imagine like being like some squire for Socrates, and it's
Ugh.
like, so you're just gonna stand there, and I'm gonna write on your back. You're gonna be my desk. What an honor!
You're gonna be my footstool. How does that feel? It should feel amazing. Okay. Well, I mean,
thank you, Chef Rao. May I have another?
Thank you. It was amazing. Do it again tomorrow? Yeah, perfect. All right, we'll see you then.
For free too.
For free. The privilege of being just used and abused.
The privilege of being Da Vinci's brush.
I mean, to be fair, like there are things you pick up, and the people that do the Michelin circuit and do that, I mean, they have a certain thing, like goal they have in mind, I think, and you know, you get what you get out of it. But I don't think people feel empowered in that system. I think people are demeaned and broken down a lot of times.
But it's like the level of pride that they have for something where they have such little control. I got to give it up to the chefs for selling that thing to the cooks.
That load of shit.
Yeah, that fucking shit story that they're told, or that dream. It's fantastic. I mean, I feel like I'm shitting on a kid's dream, you know? Like, I feel like I'm looking at my kid who's talking about how he's excited about Santa Claus. I'm like, you stupid bitch.
You stupid fuck. You believe that shit?
You believe that shit, but it's not fair. It's like, come on, I feel kind of bad. Like, I'm not trying to shit on some 22-year-old kid who's super excited that he's going to go work at it. So it's like, no, look, man, go have fun. Go enjoy it. But be aware, the world is a whole lot bigger than your single perspective.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm going to tell you, you are closer to your middle school years than you are your fucking midlife.
That's a hell of a place where you imagine that and you're like, huh.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you might sound good because you've had all your school life to think of like a perfect way to articulate your fucking perspective of the world. But wait till you fucking find out what it's really like. You know, it's like the corniest thing people say, but then it's like, no, it's really true. There's so many different personalities out there, man. It's like, damn, to be a chef and to be able to lead a kitchen properly in one direction, you know, some people like firm control. Some people like a very casual, like, hey man, don't fucking tell me what to do. And you somehow have to be able to motivate both people into one direction.
I mean, that's another thing. Like coming from head chefs, like they need to understand let alone getting to the sous chef level, they should understand that every single person in this world is just a little different, and the way to deal with them in different aspects in different ways is always going to be different. There's not one broad brush to get. Like some people just love to be berated. It's like openly in the kitchen, you're like, you fucking idiot, why did you do that? Some people just respond to that kind of military garbage. I hate it, but like whatever.
I actually respond well to that.
Yeah, so you're the one.
And it's so funny because I respond very well to it, but I'm also the very first one who kind of speaks out against it because I'm well aware that style is like 9 out of 10 cooks will reject that format. Yes. I am that one person that's like, no, I like it. It works for me.
Yeah,
it really does. I would never want to push that onto someone, and I don't assume that was a key moment for me. Is like, just because I like that, it doesn't mean other people are gonna want that. So I'm not just gonna be like, that's the kind of chef I want to be. It's like I'd rather be a multi-accessible chef.
Yes, I think that's the most. I mean, other than the physical aspect of knowing how to cook and what to cook and putting flavors together and running a physical kitchen.
Dude, that is easy. That is some shit that you can like practice on your free time. You're right. The people. People. That is the ultimate fucking.
It's the biggest thing. And like I said at the beginning of the podcast, like, you know, the important thing is not what you cook, it's how you raise the people under you and how you raise them up and get them to a point where they can start doing it on their own. And I think that's what really matters is the lineage and kind of continuing the process of like getting the industry, making it better and bringing people up and making them like, no one should leave the kitchen the same as when they were with you. You know, there's a very important aspect of like making them better than they were before they met you. You know,
and then the humbling part is that you want a new cook to do the same thing about you.
Mm-hmm.
You want your best to be like their starting point, so they can find their best. And it's like, and I would not in some ways, I would say just in all ways that represents highly on you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a chef that's able to transfer his drive or help cooks just succeed in both like the mental stress aspect of it, not just these vague fucking answers of just like, oh, I just had to dig deep. Like, okay, how? Like how, if you've never been taught how to, or like been taught how to focus, or been taught how to consolidate things, you know, it's beyond just really cool little buzzwords.
Yeah,
it's practical, boring.
It's a lifestyle.
It's like, okay, thanks, chef. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't really like criticism that doesn't have like a point behind it.
Oh, you can tell when it's like just for the guy's ego. You can tell.
Yeah,
it's like
okay, you asshole. Why did you do that? I don't know, because I thought it would be fun.
Oh no, it's okay.
Why do you think?
I'll clean up your mess. I got you. Yeah, I'll clean up.
Yeah,
your mess. Dude.
No.
It's like that happened to me one time. I'm like, dude, literally, the guy that talked shit to me told me to drop what I was doing and go help him on the line. Like, okay. He was fucking yelling at me. And it's like, I was just gonna go back, but then, yeah, man, yeah, you just can't win with some people.
No, that's true. And the industry is unfortunately full of a bunch of fucking, not idiots, but just assholes that just don't get it or aren't there yet. You know,
yeah,
that hasn't clicked.
Yeah, that's why, like, for me, it's like one thing I try to do with these new cooks. It's almost, I try to like undermine, like, I guess undermine would be the right word. Like
undermine their ability to learn.
Undermine what the white coat is to them.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like don't get caught up with that. Okay, because if like at the end of the day, it's like what people want is they want to feel. I think what most cooks want when I'm assuming when they want to be chef is they want to be able to be the creators. They want to be able to be the teachers. You can do all of that without ever having to wear a coat. And I think like in the long term, the feeling you get from helping other people, the feeling you get from passing on information, or just knowing, like, damn, the great feeling I personally get when I've had like, let's say like a couple like 20 and 19-year-olds maybe like follow me around because I'm showing them how to do things, and then I leave the restaurant and they're 10 times better cooks than when they first came. That is a feeling that no fucking coat can ever give me.
No,
because that coat,
to me, that's success. That's success.
That's it. That's empowerment right there. I gave someone power, and in turn, it gave me this great positive feeling, which it gives me the power to want to keep on doing it, keep on going. A white coat, man, it's just a white coat. And you know what? A lot of the stuff that involves having the white coat, you're not going to like. No. You know, you're going to be in that office. You're going to be doing things that have nothing to do. You're going to, it's almost like a step detached. But you can make it mean something by just not forgetting those common basic fucking things. You know, it's like, why do you want it? And it's not a power thing. I mean, if you want it for a fucking power thing, go talk to Sam Rao.
I mean, it's not exactly like how to say altruistic thing. It's not like you're doing it for just the good of your heart. It's more of a not more. It's also a added benefit is if you're a head chef and you have a crew that's kind of rough maybe, or you're trying to get them up to speed or whatever, when they get to that point and things move smoothly and you have to stress yourself out less by getting involved in every little thing, it's only a benefit to you as well. Like I can't understand why somebody's like, well, this guy's an idiot. Like I don't know gonna put any time in him. Why? Why would you not do that? Because it's only going to make your life easier. Why would you just treat him like an idiot and then let him be and hopefully he quits? Like, why? What's the point?
I'm very, as much as I talk shit about the last company I was in, the one thing that I do say is that it's not the executive chefs or the corporate team that made it. It's the cooks, it's the staff that made it. And fuck, I did this with fucking DC too. I just lost my train of thought halfway fucking through.
Just choo-choo. It left the station. Just
choo-choo and left the fucking station. God damn it, man.
It's all good. No, but I mean, I mean, when it comes to like training and bringing up your people, it goes two ways, right? Like, of course, bringing up someone and making them better, way better for their personal growth and their trajectory in the industry. But then, of course, it makes your job fucking easier. Instead of you going in every day, everything's fucked up, and you're just like, fuck, why is this like this? Fuck, why did you guys do that? What the hell? Like, if you don't put effort into training people and empower them to make decisions that align with what you're doing at that restaurant and their personal growth, you're doing them a disservice and you're making your life harder. So I like across the board, I don't get why more chefs don't talk about this aspect of training. But you
also have the cooks that are just like, you guys ought to just know. You guys don't, it's like they're already making prejudgments of you before you've even shown them what you can do. And that's kind of fucking weird. Like, I'm always curious what someone's going to do. And I already have my prejudgments. But sure. I don't think I would I almost feel like I'm going too far by verbally saying some shit like that about another cook. It's like I'm manifesting some negativity that I don't want to do.
I mean, there's a fine line.
There's a fine line. I mean,
like criticism with a bit of sugar and laying into someone. There's a line there, obviously.
Look, back of house, standard, easily I can make this blanket statement. We're all fucking critics. We're all fucking know-it-alls.
Yes.
It's like there's this joy in watching someone else fuck up. Okay, it's just by
sometimes, especially if you don't get on with the person, you're like, yeah.
I love it, but that's just an emotion. It's just a feeling. It's very fleeting, but I think it's much better to just try and empower other people.
It's important.
It's a much better feeling to try and help someone else out. You want everyone to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And
everyone wins.
Everyone always fucking wins, man. And then you look good, they look good, and then they are gonna have positive memories of you.
Yeah,
and that's
if it's a place you're at and you're long term there, then it builds the rep in the city. Like, oh, this is a good place to work, good place for training, good place for everything, and you're gonna get more staff when some leave. You're not gonna have a problem finding staff.
No, because word's gonna spread. Yeah. And to go back to the point that I remember now what I wanted to say about forgetting, you were making a comment about chefs bitching about their employees, because they don't train with stuff like that. But I was saying is for as much of the things that I don't like, one of the things that I do like that the staff, the chefs would implement in their own kitchens was things like, if you sucked at something, we didn't automatically assume you hated it. That'll show on its own, but sometimes you can tell someone wants to be there, but they just suck at something. Dude, we would move you around until we found you a spot or until, and then after you've had every position, fine, you know what? We hired Chris to be a saute. That's not working. Let's try fried. That didn't work out. Let's try grilled. That's not working out. Maybe he's better at prep. Maybe he's better at AM. Maybe he's better at PM. You know what? He still sucks. Maybe we should just put him in dish pit and then slowly work him back into our system.
Yeah.
But there's just so many steps that happen before it's like, what the fuck? No good chef is ever going to be doing it. Like a chef that has to point at someone, dude, they're not looking at themselves.
No.
Okay, there's one guy in charge of the kitchen, and how that goes, how the kitchen goes, that falls onto him.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
he can sit here and talk. We can sit here and talk about self-responsibility and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's the chefs. And then if not, then what the fuck's the point of even having a chef or even having someone in charge if you're not going to take that accountability? It's your fucking kitchen, isn't it?
Yeah. No, exactly. That's exactly the point. I mean, just on a level of being a good person, being a morally good person, just fucking bring these people up. Don't knock people down. Don't fucking, you know, don't make them feel shitty about their day. Bring them, okay, be like, okay, today wasn't very successful. Tomorrow, like I've had this conversation, I don't know, like 50, 60, 100 times. Like, you know, today sucked, but you know, we'll work on it tomorrow. This is what we're gonna work on. I've had like conversation with guys. I've had conversations with guys where I'm like a sous chef and I say, okay, we're gonna have weekly meetings, and this week this is what we're working on. We're just gonna work on, you know, when you pick up something, you put it down where it goes. Just general cleanliness stuff.
And you know what?
This is what we're working on this
week.
When
you have a cook that sees that you're taking the time to do that,
yeah.
This is all assuming, you know, that everyone's on the up and up. Yeah. You're building the rapport for yourself, and they're going to feel inspired. And then you're going to get to that point where you don't have cooks that fear you. They have cooks that fear disappointing you. Because that's so big, because it's like they respect you. They've seen the time that you've put in just for you to have a moment of like irresponsibility or I just slipped up. Oh man, that weighs. And you know what? It's okay. Because you remember, because as the professional, as the one that's more experienced, you understand people make mistakes. You understand, you know what? Let him make this mistake because he feels bad enough that he won't allow it to happen again.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
And that's empowerment. They won't allow it to happen again because they feel it personally. They know what's gone into. They know the amount of work that the chef or the cook has put into you.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a perfect way to summarize what we've been talking about. Actually, now it's nothing but good things come of it. You know, nothing. So. I mean, I just hope somebody hears this and you know, makes some changes in their daily routine that way. But.
Yeah, I don't know much about someone that's going to be on the receiving end. I would just say be open-minded. Assume you don't know everything. You know, also it doesn't mean that you don't have value. You have value. It's just it's going to take an experienced person to chisel away the rough edges and to find a diamond that's inside. But I would say overall, this conversation, this whole thing is more of at least for me, I hope that a much more experienced cook will see it and just take a second look. There's just no point in having this fucking like gatekeeping, these fucking guys are this blah, blah, blah. Dude, then why the fuck don't you step up and fucking help out?
Yeah.
Without ego, without comment. Are you capable of doing it without sticking your 2 little cents that end up just being fucking just shit talk?
Yeah.
Can you do it? Okay. And if you can't do it, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know, shut the fuck up and learn. Yeah.
Learn how to do it.
And if you can, do it. Apply. Why haven't you? Hey man, that's empowerment right there.
That's it.
Take control
that's
of
the
it.
one.
Hey, there you go.